Hey folks, this is Rod with WinBuy coming to you live from the front seat of my truck. Just picked up Miss Izzy from golf. Again, pushing out there the First Tee program. I think it's a great program to get children involved in a sport, not just to learn golf, but also to teach you sportsmanship. Anyway, today I want to talk about the truth about returns. What are the truths about returns? Well, first thing, there's a lot of people that fear them. There's a lot of people in the eBay community, if you haven't paid attention, that absolutely won't do them. Think it's a bad decision for eBay to force doing it. Do I love doing returns? I don't like getting returns at all, but I think it's very beneficial to offer not only returns, but free returns on your products. You will hear a lot of people spouting out, 30% of e-commerce sales are returned. That might be true. It might be right up there around 30%. That's some of the statistics that I've seen. But then again, you have to look. You have to break that statistic down. Doing further research, I found of that 30%, 65% of that 30% were returns caused not by the buyer, but the merchant. And some of the majority of the reasons for that would be the merchant sending the wrong item, the item being damaged when they got it, or just plain didn't work. And I'll be honest, I've seen some of the returns that come back. I've bought some Amazon returns from somebody that was unloading them at the auction house that I buy things from, and a few of the items they were just plain crap. I think that something that attributes, and I don't have anything to support this, but I think something that attributes that to that is the fact that many, you're going to see courses on how to do it. A lot of people are going out to sites like Alibaba and whatever, wholesale site you can find, and going over to buy cheap stuff made by China. And I'm not saying all stuff made by China is cheap, but a lot of it is. That's why people are buying it. You get what you pay for. And when you're paying pennies for something, what kind of quality can you expect? And I think because the vast number of products out there on Amazon, I'm talking about Amazon mainly because it is, I think the last number I saw was they do, I want to say 40% of all, don't quote me on this, but I want to say they hold 40% of the market online. And when you're comparing it to every other retailer out there, that's a huge chunk of the pie. One of the largest ones, I believe, the largest online retailer. But when you look at how many people that are reaching, how many items they're selling a day, that and how much crap. Their statistics alone, if they are selling a lot of crap product, they're going to drive that e-commerce return percentage even higher. I think that's just the nature of that beast. But when you look at your returns on eBay, you can't really say, I'm not going to do returns on eBay because the return rate is 30%. I would venture to say that most resellers are sitting probably around 4 to 6%, maybe as high as 10. I think I think 10%, 10 to 12% is probably overall. I think that would be a good number to spit out there for a percentage of returns that are done based on the buyer, because they didn't want it, because they changed their mind. But it's not 30% of all returns are because the customer didn't want it, that they're wanting to do a try-on service. I'm not going to say you're not going to have those instances, but it's not going to be as bad as you think because you heard it on somebody's YouTube channel. Just trying to keep it real. And I challenge you to go out and do the investigation yourself. Don't take my word for it, but don't take the guy's word for it that is just spitting out a blanket number without any sort of explanation behind that. That's all I ask. And that's something I like to tell everybody to do your own research on this. Just to throw out a couple more statistics that I found out there, 80% of buyers want a simple return policy. 60% will read your policy to see what your policy holds. I think I saw somewhere in there that it was a very high percentage. I can't remember if it was 60 or right up around the 79%. It was a very high percentage of buyers that not having a return policy or having a difficult return policy will deter somebody from actually making the purchase. So that's just food for thought. I do offer free returns. The trick to it, because we do hate doing the returns processing, we hate giving that money back. The way you look at your sales, your inventory as one big picture. Don't tie any emotions. If you're tying emotions to your sale or each transaction, you're going to beat yourself to death. Look at it as a whole picture. If you're like me, I'm buying product pennies to the dollar, and I'm making profit on every sale. Let me just say 98%, because I do have those one-offs, and I can more than afford to handle that 4% returns, because I have faith in how I'm listing. If you're listing your items, you're giving all the details, you're listing all flaws, and you're depicting the best way you can through pictures in your listing. As long as your listings are complete, you're going to do just fine. Yeah, you're going to come across a customer here and there that is going to want to do it. I mean, I just had one this last week. I sold some Mac software for, it was one of those Art Explosion, it was 20 discs, and I know exactly what the guy did, or the person. He took it and he bought it, got it to his computer, and he burned everything off to his hard drive and returned it as changed his mind. So, I'll get it back. I paid maybe a couple dollars for it. I got it back. I'll get it back. I'll issue the refund, and I'll list it again and still make profit on the item. Now, after about 4 times, I'll just stop listing it. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, that one sale, it's not going to kill my business. And that was the last return that I've had in probably a couple months. I want to say I'm sitting right around the 4% return rate. Anyway, that is my take on it. I don't like when I see a return come through. But B, I offer it because I know that's what customers have come to expect, whether it's right or wrong in today's atmosphere. That is how they're programmed to shop, and blame Amazon. That's what I'm going to say, because and it's not just them. A lot of brick and mortars used to do had done free returns for years, but it is a hard pill to swallow. But I think it's beneficial overall. I think it'll help. I think it helps ease the buyer's mind when they're searching and finding the products, and come to your site and say, "Oh, I know that for some reason I don't like this, or if something's wrong with it when I get it, I can send it back." And they'll buy the product, and 96% of the time you're not going to ever hear about it again. Anyway, that's it. We'll catch you next time. Like, subscribe. Peace out.